Friends, today I am going to show you how to implement a very common requirement user preference on Oracle VBCS table. Suppose a call center agent is working or doing data processing and he want to change the width order of column according to his personal preference. He want to move the ID to the first position. He want to change the width of the created, and when next time table render, it should include the user preference. So let me refresh it. Now here you can see this table is rendered, and it has included the user preference. ID is at first position, created column has enough width. So this kind of requirement we can easily implement in Oracle VBCS. Go to the Visual Builder Studio and see how we can implement. So here I will create a new table, a new application. I have created a application user preference. Now I will add a table because I have to show data on table. It is just a dummy table. I'll create a single record here. Now go to the web app here, create a web app, create. I will go to the code and remove existing one. Refresh. Now I will use the table to show the data. Add the data in the table. Include all the columns. Here you can see the table is working, data is visible. Now I will change the properties of these columns. Go to the data created by. I will make it enable, resizable enable, sortable enable, and go to the table property. Selection mode, single row, single column, single, because I want to implement D&D, drag and drop and reordering of the column. So I will select the column mode as a single. It will be displayed as a grid. So here you can see the table is visible. This is working. D&D is not working, so go to the design, all, search for D&D, go to reorder column, enable. So reorder is also working, width is also working. So now my table is ready. Now next what I will do, I will cut the column property and I will create a JavaScript function for this table column, and here I will return that property. Simple, that's it. Now go to the table, go to all, column, and here now column property will come from function. Test your table, it is working. So now column property is coming from the table. Now when user will change any column property, so we have to store it in my local storage. So I will add an event, go to the event, click event listener, create, go to the property change, column is there, select. Now create a new action chain. So here you can see column properties there. Whenever user will change any column related properties, reordering or width, this action will be invoked. Here I will create a function, and this function will store the updated column in my local storage. Create. Go to the function. So here you can see a new function has been created. It has only context property and the definition of the function is here. But I want to store the updated column in my local storage. So I will, here column is a input parameter. So I will copy this column and I will pass this as a parameter to my new function. That's it. Now I will write to store it in my local storage dot set item. The key will be item table1. Column. So whatever, when a user will change or will do any update on column property, width, increase width or reorder anything, this action event will be fired and it will call this method. This method will store the new column property in my local storage. But this is object, so I will change it as a JSON. So this function will store the updated column property in my local storage. Now next time I have to use this column property in my table. So I will go to my function, column function, and here I will write a logic. So local storage dot get item table1 or, so if table1 is already there in the local storage, then I have to use this, otherwise I have to go for the default. But this is in the string format, so I have to change it in JSON for object format. So json.parse. So when user is updating the column, we are storing it in my local storage, and next time we are taking the columns detail from my local storage and showing it to the user. It is not present, then we are using the default one. So this is the simplest approach to store the columns detail in local storage. Other option is that you can create another table and you can expose API and store these JSON, column properties direct in table. Rather than storing it in a local storage, we can also store in table. VBCS table or any external table, we need to expose the API, we need to call API every time. But this is the simplest approach. So action chain is storing my updated columns in my local storage, and column function is extracting, retrieving it from my local storage and parsing it to the object. Now go to the table and here go to the application. So here you can see if user is going to move it to the last position, refresh. So it is there in the last position. So by this way, simply we can include user preference in my Oracle VBCS table, or we can store user preference. This is very common requirement, and whenever you are implementing a table, you should take care of this.